G'day and welcome to video 13. It's Rach here from Rara's Realm. I'm recording a little bit later in the afternoon than I would normally do, so the light's a little bit iffy, but hopefully we'll be able to get through. I'd like to welcome you back if you've been here before, and welcome you if this is your first visit. I'm sharing my year of the prolific stitch, and this week I've got 5 projects to show you. And I have some haul, including that nightmare of a package that's taken 2 months to get here. You'll be able to see what all the fuss was about. So, not a lot else to talk about. I thought I would mention the sewing stitch again. I talked about it a couple of weeks ago that I've been trying it, I think after I showed Hawk Run Hollow. And I've been really working on it basically ever since all of this year, and I can't recommend it highly enough. I think it's cut down the work my arm does, and I also think it has sped up what I'm accomplishing. I'm sure that I wouldn't be as far as I am on a lot of the projects if I wasn't using the sewing stitch. I've still got to figure out getting in the sewing stitch manoeuvre going from left to right, and I think that probably what I've got to learn to do is, instead of starting in, for me, the top left corner, starting either in the top right or the bottom right and working the wrong way across the page, if you like. I haven't tried that yet, and I don't know whether to try that with the next new start, which will be in on Thursday. We'll see, but otherwise I'm just ticking along really nicely. So anyway, I think it's certainly something to look at if you perhaps stitch in hand rather than in a frame of some sort. I think the sewing method's a really great way to go. And I know Teresa Kitten Stitcher has a tutorial that she put out sometime around the new year, so not too far back, not too many videos back. So anyway, right, let's crack on with the whips. So when I left you last Monday, I was working on Blackbird designs. I am doing the Garden Club, sorry, in your face. The Garden Club series is one piece, and I'm on block 1. And when I showed it to you, I had got a lot of this side done. I think I got the bird done and half of the cherries were done. I then had, I think if I remember rightly, the rest of Monday and Tuesday to work on it. So this is where I left it. So as you can see, let me just fold it up a little bit more, actually make it easier to hold. I've got bits of thread everywhere. Let's try that. So pretty much all the cherries are now done. There's a couple of elements still down here to do. I've got to fill in between the cherries, and then this is all Smyrna crosses, and there and there and in there is satin stitch, and I think then that block is finished. I didn't do any of this one on my 4 free slots. I did it for other projects because I felt like I'm moving fast enough, and I think when I looked at the next chart, it's not as involved as this. There's a lot of work here, so I'm thinking that I will still be able to tick over quite nicely with this. I absolutely love this. I've never done a Blackbird's design before, and I'm just thrilled with how this is going. So that's the first thing. Then at the end of the 4 days of Blackbird designs, I entered into the 4 free slot day. Don't say that after a drink. And of the 4 days I stitched for 3. I didn't stitch on one. I binge watched The Good Wife again. And I think I said in my last video, possibly it's either the last one or the one before, how I was trialling Netflix and watching The Good Wife, and I knew the major spoiler, I just didn't know when it was. Well, either the day that I said that or the next day, my little Charlie cat and I were watching the videos at the end of the day, as we do. I lie on my stomach and I have the iPad in front of me, and he gets in between me and the iPad, and he put his foot on the screen and he slid it down, and he revealed the rest of the series. And literally the first thing I lit on was coping after the tragedy. So he basically spoiled it for me. I knew then when it was going to happen, but it was still very sad. Anyway, digressing. So one of my goals, I had 3 things that I wanted to achieve in my free days. I wanted to finish the first block of Orchard Valley Quilting Bee. I wanted to finish the border on Harvest Keeper, which was literally a leaf and an acorn, and I wanted to spend a day on Hawk Run Hollow. So this is the Orchard Valley Quilting Bee by Little House Needleworks, and I'm basically up here. And when I showed it to you last, all that was missing basically was Virginia. She had an arm and some shoes, and that was it. So I had to finish her, and I had to finish the borders on either side, which I have managed to do. So there we go. I say the block is finished. The only thing's missing is the French knots for the eyes. I'm not going to do that until the end because I stitch in hand and they'll flatten as I roll the piece up to work. So that went relatively quickly. That was just a day to finish her off and get the border done. And I discovered, was it on this one? No, it's on another one. I just started going across because I had enough thread, and I just kept going until the thread had finished there. So that's the first block finished, and I think I'm going to go into the middle block, which is a double block, and just do the half that's on this page, which is relatively easy, and hopefully I'll show you. So I've got half of that to do on the top there, and I think I'll probably work on that because I think I'll get that finished quite easily in the 4 days, and then I can make a start on the next bit. So that was 1 day stitching. The next one is Plum Street Samplers Harvest Keeper, and on this I'm working in this top portion here, and I had done the whole vine across the top, all the leaves. I've done the vine to halfway where the chart page ends, and I literally had an acorn and a leaf left to do, so that's where I had left it with the vine and the leaves. What I managed to get done on the day, and you're going to have to excuse some part threads here, so I managed to get the leaf and the acorn done and make a start on the tree and the top of the first bee skip there at the bottom. So I'm enjoying stitching this, but it's perhaps not going as quickly as I thought, but I think it's because there's a lot of counting, and I'm sure once the tree is done it'll move a little bit quicker. So that was another of the free slot days, just getting on top of that. And then, depending on where projects are at, it's my intention that at least on one of the free slot days that I do some work on Hawk Run Hollow, because as you can see it's a mammoth task and it's going to take me a couple of years to do. So if I can give it its 4 days in the rotation and an extra day or 2 in the free slots, I should hopefully by the end of the year be well on the way to halfway, which would be a good goal. So when I showed this to you at the end of its first 4 days, I had the orange square and over the completed, and some of the border around here and there. I think, again, this was another one where I had some stitching time after I filmed. I then got the outline of this element here done. And then, so yesterday, Saturday, I filled in this. You can see it. And then I did the words river and on a hill. So over the river, on a hill is the start of the saying for block 1. I'm just trying to see how well that shows up in the... It's supposed to... the second line in on here is supposed to be red, but it's very similar to this. So I don't know if I've mucked up my bobbinating, or it's the difference between... What's this originally stitched in? Oh, I haven't got the thing. I'm doing the DMC conversion, so it may be that if you're using the silks or the... I think it's silks, there is a slight difference in the colouring, but on here I don't see it at all. But you're not going to notice when you've got all of this to look at. There's so much to look at that little bits and bobs that sort of seem a bit off aren't going to make a big difference. So yep, so we've moved a bit further on. I'd like to say, well, I'd say that's about a quarter, because if you look at the bottom of that block, there's quite a bit of filling in where the river is and everything like that. So hopefully in the next 4 days I'll get the ducks done and the rest of the wording at least, and then we can make a start on that bottom bit. Okay, so that was another day, and then yesterday it was on to Project 5, and Project 5 is Santa's Village by Country Cottage Needleworks. If you've not watched my channel before, I did block 1 in November and December last year, and then put it aside until it came up in the rotation, which was yesterday. So I'm now on to the second chart in the series, Poinsettia Place, and I've done, well, I'll show you. First of all, I'll do that. So yesterday I did the banding up the top and the first 2 little snowflakes just to get some counting off points, and today, while I've been watching the American football matches to find the Super Bowl teams, I've done the roof here, and the little cardinal, which would have been a button if I had got all the buttons, but for some reason I never got all the buttons, I don't know. So that's chart 2, next to chart 1. And if I can get the house done, then I feel like I've broken the back of that chart, and it should move along quite quickly. So I probably won't stitch any more on it today. It's late afternoon now, and I'm going to get into the tea and my mother's medications and all of that sort of thing. So I've got tomorrow, and this is day 2, so tomorrow and Wednesday, and then Thursday is a new start for Project 6. Project 7, which is I haven't got the chart in front of me, and I just need to check I've got my facts right. Yeah, so Project 7, which is due to start next Monday, is my Lucy Calcutt sampler. The fabric that I ordered from 123 Stitch has cleared customs in New Zealand, so hopefully I'll get that tomorrow or Wednesday, and then I'll go and get the DMC. I haven't bought the DMC for it yet. I'll get the DMC for it later this week, and I should be ready to start next week. So that's next Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So next Friday I'm due to start Farmhouse Christmas, which, as we know as of today, which is, brain is not working, today is the 22nd of January, it's Monday here in New Zealand. As far as I'm aware, the charts haven't shipped from the retailers yet, so what I've been thinking is that if we get to Friday week when Farmhouse Christmas is meant to start, I will just bring everything forward. So after Farmhouse Christmas it becomes the Orchard Valley Quilting Bee again, so I'll just do that, and I'll just keep moving forward until I get the Farmhouse Christmas stuff, and then I'll get sorted back into the rotation. I'll give it its 4 days and then get back on track, I think is my plan of attack. Okay, so I was really pleased with how much I've done in the week. My haul arrived on Saturday. One order placed on the 13th of November and one order placed just before the new year, so not too bad given that there were public holidays for that order, the first order. So I ordered, let's do it like this. So the order before New Year, I was just basically looking around and I discovered that everything cross stitch, is that right? I can't remember now. Have I still got the thing in front of me here somewhere? No. We're selling some of the ABC sampler charts on sale. Not all of the charts for some reason, but some of the series was on sale. So I actually ordered, I had already ordered this one, this came before Christmas. So I went ahead and actually ordered the rest of the series from Everything Cross Stitch. So this is block 2, no it's not, they're not ordered. Let me put them in order. Where's number 2? 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3. I'm missing block 2. Oh, that's interesting. That's block 2. Okay, so I haven't pulled out number 1. That's my mistake. So this is block 2. I'll see without standing up because I've got shorts on and you do not want to see that. If I can get the first one out. There it is. Then you've got a good idea. So that's number 1. Number 2. I'll try my best not to make it too glary and moving around. Number 3. Number 4 is a little, to me looks like a salt box house. Number 5 with its reindeer. Well, deer, might not necessarily be reindeer. 6. 7. 8. And the last one to round out the alphabet. So I've got the whole series. I've got no plans at this point in time to stitch it, but when I do I'll be doing it as one piece. If you've never seen it before, I would check out, I know Vonna did it, and also you'll find them in the pictures of people doing it in the Little House Needleworks Facebook group. So that was one of the things I ordered in the New Year order, and I got number 10 in the Garden Series Club from Blackbird Designs. Number 11 is coming with the bit of fabric that I ordered. Sorry, I'm very close in your face. I'll have to remember to lean back. I've got number 11 coming, and at the moment 123 Stitch has not got number 12 in stock, but I think Everything Cross Stitch has. But it's my plan not to place another order now until February, ideally, because I've got that order coming, and I have also ordered from Amazon the 2 CDs, the Just Cross Stitch Christmas Ornament CD and Antique and Sampler, you know what I mean, Samplers and Antique Needlework, something like that CD. So if I'm a bit shiny, it's quite hot in here. I haven't got the window open because the blinds would rattle. Okay, now let me show you what all the fuss was about for 2 months. The first 3 patterns were basically to fill the bag, because it seemed ridiculous to be paying however much the postage is to New Zealand for one chart. So I was looking around. I had a lot of people were doing this from the Hometown Holiday series, and I really wanted to get my hands on it, but I was struggling to find it, and this place had it, so I ordered that. And then I decided, because was it possibly one of the reasons that people use this place is the prices are good. I'm trying not to get in your face. The prices are good, and possibly that's about it in my opinion. Anyway, so I thought, well, a couple of things in the bag and then that'll do. So I ordered the trees, as I've shown you. I ordered Main Street Station, and I ordered the firehouse. So those are my first 3 from the Hometown Holiday series, and it's my intention to get an uneven number, so 5 or 7, I haven't decided which yet, and to stitch them just as a long piece. So these I discovered just by fluke, and I wasn't thinking about it when I got it. The heights of 2 of these are 50 stitches and one of them is 53, so very close together in height, so that's worked out quite well. So when I next order, I will keep that in mind. Something's gone in my eye. And finally, the whole reason I went to that place in the first place. Now, I discovered this chart, it's November, it was early November, and I think it was Lisa the Kindred Stitcher showed it. I might be wrong, but that's where I think. And the chart is called Stonehouse on the Brandywine by Heart's Ease Exemplar Works. And this is the chart. The house is quite dark at the bottom. And I have to say, when I then looked at it, when I opened the package on Saturday and I looked at it again, I was like, I don't know that I like those medallions there. So possibly I might do a little bit of dramatic license when I eventually get to it, or not. I really don't know. One of the reasons that I like this was the verse, which I shall read to you, which basically says, "Oh, what stories it could tell, this old house of mine, a long-standing sentinel on the Brandywine. Built strong of granite and of wood, on verdant acres my stone house stood, with window sills too deep and wide, and walls made thick on every side, while o'er the hill, not far away, the Brandywine River did flow and play, afar to behold the strength of the two, the house and the river, and the stories they knew." And it was the verse and the house and the trees that captured my imagination for this. And I see it's got marked $40 on it, but I'm fairly certain that's not what it cost me in the end at all, because of the prices that they have on that site. So that is what all the kerfuffle was about. That's what's taken 2 months and a lot of angst, and yeah, it's here. So that's where we're at. I've been trying to watch a few floss tube videos, but I have to say that I have been spending more time with The Good Wife than I have floss tube lately, just trying to keep up with a few people so I don't get too far behind. But I know Shannon A, who was the lady in Canada that won my giveaway before Christmas. She has just started a floss tube channel, and she's got I think 2 videos up. I've seen the first one, but I haven't seen the second one. It's just shown up in my list, so that's only just gone up in the last few days, I think. I think that's the only new person that I'm aware of at the moment. I had a really lovely comment from someone yesterday, my time, who told me that she had just binge watched my whole channel, which I'm not aware of anyone else doing, so that was really sweet, and she had lots of things to say. And I notice, unless um, I'm wrong, but I think the names are the same, she's looking like she is doing the Lucy Calcutt sample. I'm fiddling, sorry. The Lucy Calcutt sampler as well, so that'd be quite nice to have someone that you communicate with that's actually doing the same piece as you. Okay, that's about me. So this week is, as I said, there's another couple of days on Santa's Village, and then on Thursday I start the Quaker in six parts, a free chart, and on Monday morning before I film, I will hopefully be starting Lucy Calcutt unless there's some problem with the delivery of the fabric. But as I said, it cleared customs yesterday, and so hopefully it'll be here in the next couple of days. One of the things I noticed with this shop that we will not name, they sent me a tracking number, and it said something along the line of shipping label made, awaiting delivery of package, which I inquired on Stitch Mania, and people basically said she's created the label but she hasn't given the parcel to the post office yet, and that status never changed, so it never was tracked from them at all. It's just lucky that it arrived, because I know some people have had problems with parcels not arriving from them. So just be aware, if you've got something coming from them and the status isn't changing, it doesn't necessarily mean it's not winging its way to you. It does eventually, unless there is a genuine issue. It did get to me in New Zealand from deepest, darkest Ohio, I believe. So anyway, that chapter is over. Right, I've waffled. It's 27 minutes, and I'm going to get this uploaded and onto YouTube and go and cool down for a little bit before it's time to start the meal times. Hope you have a good week stitching, and I will catch you next week with a new start to show you, or hopefully 2 new starts to show you actually. So until then, take care everyone. See you later.